going up to a high mountain. Let's see how far we get. I wonder if we need to go a lot higher. I would just be happy here. Let's see. I was following a path, but it finished. You remember these a few months ago, just beginning to turn green with the rain? Well, actually early, it was in January, maybe even in December, because we had a lot of rain in November. And now we have all these plants have come to maturity. As a farming boy, I'd consider them all kind of weeds, but they have their purpose. And here we have even this thistle here, completely ripe. That seed just actually fell off. Here we have all these seeds. Where are you guys? Come on. Oh, over here. So the scorching sun is rising and bringing all of this to total ripeness, to end of its life cycle. The farmer tells me that today he'll be baling the wheat. So maybe we'll have a surprise live stream for you later this morning. Towards the end of the morning, probably, I'm not sure yet. We'll put up a little announcement about that. But here we are on Mount Arbel, just gone up a little ways. And I did that because today we're celebrating a big day. It's kind of the harvest feast for humanity, the beginning of the harvest of humanity. One thing is the harvest of the wheat and the harvest of the barley. And if you want, then the harvest of the olives and the harvest of the fruit and the harvest of everything. And there's tremendous teaching in all of nature for us. And harvesting is part of reality. Today is a big harvest day. We celebrate in many countries still the traditional date of the Ascension to heaven. Imagine humanity glorified forever in heaven. That's the ultimate harvest. If everything is teaching us about God and about the Creator, just like every work of art tells us a lot about the artist, then the entire scriptures are telling us about, are revealing through nature, and obviously then through explicit actions, that the Almighty has undertook on our behalf, explaining to us the meaning of life, the purpose of life. Humanity struggles many times in deep ravines of uncertainty and hostility, aggression, assault, weakness, illness. And we have been through a deep valley of illness and social disruption through the last 15 months in a particular way. Sometimes we ourselves cause a lot of the problems with poor decisions, poor discernment, poor reactions. And yet all of this is in the context of all the cycles of nature. Teaching us about the meaning of everything. And the ultimate meaning that was planned by the Creator from the beginning. And I'd like to say today we have the understanding of harvest definitively, and harvest and promised land definitively. What is the promised land? Is it real estate? And how real is real estate? You have it for so long, it needs a lot of maintenance. It can decay very quickly, it can decline very quickly, it can become a wasteland very quickly. Just even by the forces of nature. But then when humankind is neglectful or slothful or then hostile or destructive, how much can be destroyed so quickly? And the promised land is met in the victory of humanity ascending to heaven, forever in glory, unassailable glory, ineffable glory. We lack words to describe it. There's glory in this dawn, a ray of glory. Sometimes we're driving by so quickly we can't look at the glory. We just are in survival mode. Or in immediate gain mode. To grab that low-lying fruit and fill our basket so full that we're tired and we can't take the big fruit, the real fruit. Like the child whose mouth is saturated with chocolate and can no longer eat a decent meal. So today is a great day because it's the definitive harvest. Human nature glorified forever, eternally. Never again to be assailed. And that's our destination. Because God didn't put on this show just like to impress us, like a marvelous gymnast or dancer or musician or trickster or stunt person. We didn't need that for us and for our salvation. We're the ones that needed it. And it's for us, so it's a message for us and it's a gift for us. And here we are. Entering into that gift. What a mystery. Look at these blue ones down here as well. I'm stunned by these because they're so different and they seem to have a different type of life. Bluish, purplish. Everything else has gone brown. And down there in the center you have that bluish purplish down there deep down. You know, we're kind of being enticed and coaxed and drawn into a deeper reflection just by the gifts that are given to us. The gifts of migrating birds prompt us, yesterday was the day of the migrating bird, prompts us to ask, where are they coming from? Where are they going? And what am I doing here? We're also destined for the major migration, for eternal glory. Sometimes it's hard to think about that in the midst of deep suffering, and sometimes that's the greatest consolation in deep suffering. I got a bee over here that's different than the normal bee. It's like some type of insect. I don't know if I can get you on camera there. It's down here someplace. It's hard to zero in on the camera here. Let's see, so that's that one there. That's over here. Oh, it just got away on me. And the news here continues to be challenging. You know, just look at a family. It's amazing what, in a moment of anger, of distress, of being under pressure, tired, worn out, and not rightly perceiving reality and saying a word that's very hurtful. Well, dinner got burned again. And the poor person that tried to prepare it, you know. It's amazing, and sometimes it's not even intentional. Sometimes it can be very intentional, very intended to hurt. And how long it takes to repair the damage that one word does. These are swallows dancing around here. I think they're putting on a show for us. I can't get them all. I don't know how to do that. Let me see if I can. I think we're in full zoomed, full the widest take we have. So, social cohesion within a family is a very delicate reality. Sometimes it can be very strong. It's amazing what families can endure, what pressure they can endure from outside. But it's when inside the family and there's a division, then a lot of things can fall apart so quickly. And then in the bigger society, and we see that in so many countries right now. Even yesterday I read an article about issues in Northern Ireland again. And that just be in the news almost every day when I was a child. Well, teenager. And the Troubles really, we call them the Troubles. The Troubles broke out in 1968, 69. And it took the rest of the century to bring some form of reconciliation. It was called the Good Friday Agreement. Major political figures brokered it, but there was a tremendous amount of small work done, little acts of deeds, little kindnesses, little programs done by community leaders, women who were for peace, programs for children to live together, Protestants and Catholics. And now it's turning fragile again. And that was obvious from the beginning. I remember many conversations talking with people about not to presume that age-old wounds would be sealed and eliminated by a political agreement. The education worked for centuries. And it's amazing how education work can go on for a while and can easily be set back by acts of violence. And we need to pray for every country in the world, and here also now, when you have minorities, if they're very small, injustices can be carried out against them. It's part of human history everywhere. And these injustices then obviously are part of memory. And hatreds are easily fueled. Fires are relatively easily rekindled. And major threats can happen to society. We saw this in Rwanda. How terrible. I think now more than ever we need to contemplate the ascension and to make a commitment, first of all, to want to participate in this transformation, this renewal, this ultimate harvest. And particularly then to do as much as we can to help people to experience goodness, reconciliation, forgiveness, the capacity to live together with the other, the need to live together with the other, the need to have another who is different, who helps me to get outside of my own perspective, my own little view, test my heart to grow in greater charity. There's some great wisdom about loving enemies, because that's kind of an ultimate test of how authentic love is in my heart. So many of your countries that are participating here are celebrating the Ascension on Sunday, so don't be confused. That's a practical disposition of the church to facilitate people's participation in the liturgies because of work schedules and so on. So the feast was moved to Sundays in many places, but here we're celebrating Ascension Thursday today. In the traditional fashion, we're here in the Holy Land. You know, Jesus took them up to a mountain and he was lifted up. He ascended before them. There's something about mountains that lift us up, you know, they lift up our glance. We walk up there. I'm walking down right now a little bit. And then, you know, the disciples are there looking up, and two white-dressed, mysterious beings appear and say to them, "Hey, Galileans!" You know, we're here in Galilee right now, the Sea of Galilee. This is the area where most of these disciples hailed from. Men of Galilee, come on, what are you looking up? You got a mission to do down here. Don't stay in dreamland. Get to work. Society needs a lot of help today, in every country. Don't just sit there and enjoy the ride, like this egret on top of this cow. You got to go to work too, like this cow is grazing, providing for her calf. I had a different plan to go up this morning, but as soon as I came in on the mountainside, there were a group of cows and calves, and they seemed kind of sensitive, so I came over this direction, and then there was another group right here at these poles on the pathway, so I figured, okay, I have to come up here, so that's why I came up here concretely. So the rising of the sun today tells us we have another day for our mission, Today isn't the day that we're ascending to heaven. The head is going forward, the head of the body, the first fruits of humanity, the first fruits of the definitive harvest, heading to the definitive promise of eternal glory. And we shouldn't settle for less, that's what we were created for. And so the whole mystery, in a certain sense, unfolds before our eyes today, the whole purpose. This is the meaning of Easter. This is the ultimate Passover. From this valley of toil and tears and conflict, and even though we have all this going into fall, here we have new flowers coming. Look at that. And new generations are being born. So why are you looking up to the sky? Go and get to work, roll up your sleeves. And the first job they had to do was go back and pray for 9 days. Christians have for ages sets of 9 days inspired by the scriptures to pray for occasions, for events, for causes. Right now, actually, the Catholic Church is very mobilized to pray for the definitive ending of all the lockdowns and for a renewal of our world. Not just going back to an old normal, but a new attitude of solidarity and helpfulness, of kindness, of thinking of the other, of knowing when to cut with the hectic. We were able to stop. We were forced to stop. We went from 250,000 visitors here in Magdala in 2019 to basically almost, well, not zero, because January and February of 2020 were very good. They were better than the January and February the year before, but it went down to zero every month for so many months, down to zero. For a year, down to zero. So we've learned to stop the hectic a little bit. And then what have we learned from that? So here you have a cow and a calf. And this is where we were. We were up there. Just up there in the center of the screen. Not too far up. Lots of cows have been here, as you can see. A long time ago and more recently and just now. People, thank you for joining us. I put in the link there for the scriptures for you. I also put in a link today for the Franciscan, the Christian Media Center here in Jerusalem, in the Holy Land, to be able to tap into the ceremonies at the Mount of Olives at the site of the Ascension. And that area is obviously pretty tense in East Jerusalem. So, and then there aren't any pilgrims yet from outside, but hopefully there will be local Christians there celebrating. And if you have the opportunity to tap on the link there and check in, you will be able to participate a little at Mount of Olives today. And now I thank you for joining us this morning, here in this glorious morning. God bless you. See you later, alligators.